So could you give us an example of maybe a short story or a film that you've used to, or that you've seen that has produced the impact that you wanted in the audience that's been receiving your content?
Yeah, for example, my film, The Baby Bride, it is a short film, 18 minutes, but it's about a girl, Maria. She was very bright in class. And then when she returns home, she finds that her parents had decided to sell her off, give her away, because it happens in Uganda that so many young people are married off without their consent. It's like if a guy has money, comes to the parents and is like, and this guy is very much older than her. So after, when she goes into this marriage, she faces the stigma. Her friends cannot associate with her. The parents of her friends are like, don't talk to her, she'll spoil you. So that's the kind of situation. So when I was bringing out this film, I wanted to expose it to the world so that people really know. And then it's connected to poverty because most of these families in the rural areas of Uganda do this because they feel they don't have the money to sustain maybe an education, so the girl is groomed for marriage.
And I guess what has been the reaction of the public to these films?
I'm very happy because the message, I've been focusing much on young people and the message that, and the people receiving the message are now finding it. Young people are now changing, so the narrative is changing, and I'm very much optimistic in young people because we are breaking the barriers. We are talking about things our parents wouldn't talk about. So it's really interesting and it's something that gives me hope. And I'm very much proud because whenever you start these conversations, you find that, yeah, very many young people are so positive. People in universities, people who are newly grad ones, people who are still in school. So it's kind of positive.
How did you become interested in this work? What led you to, besides from being shocked and saddened by seeing the situation of young girls being married too young, what made you become an activist?
By the time my father died, my mother was around 19 years. And already my sister was 2 years older. And then me, I was 9 months. And that means that by the time she got married, she was 16. And when my father died, because the kind of society that we are living in, I think my mother comes from a rich family, but because she's a woman, she cannot inherit. So it took us behind. It's like we grew up in a kind of way that it was like a kind of struggle. But if it wasn't for luck, because very many young people in my community are like me, they get orphanaged at a young age, and then after that, all their lives are spoiled. They don't have a future. To me, it was luck because my mother got a teaching certificate and she started working in an international school, one of the top in Kampala. So when she started working, she started bringing me novels, from fairy tales as a kid. So I had a very rich childhood that had a lot of stories. So from that, I was able to, in fact, most of the scholarships that I was getting were because I was writing or because I was very good at English literature. Yeah, so to me, it was because of luck. But when it goes back to the communities, very many young people are getting, they grow up and they don't have access to these books. They don't have access to a future. The parents can't afford the education. So in my community, I see a lot of young people struggling. They can't find jobs. They can't find, yeah, so that's the reason why I said, let me go out and talk about this. Let me bend my work towards this.
And is there any particular book or maybe poem or material that you think really inspired you?
Yeah, I think if I'm to get back in time, I was so much inspired by Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. During that time, I joined high school and I read the book and it changed my life. And when Austen writes, for example, there's that book of Pride and Prejudice. It really changed my life because I felt I had a lot of prejudices against people and I had pride and vanity, and it's something that is useless at the end of the day. So yeah, I feel those are some of the books that have inspired me.
What's one thing that you could change if you had the ability to change anything?
It is freedom. That is one thing. It is freedom because freedom will translate to everything else. It will give my people money, wealth, and to give my people education. And education is my kind of freedom. So I feel like freedom is more, it comes first. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jerry. Thanks for coming to visit us here at UFM. We really appreciate your visit and the lessons that you're going to teach us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the interview, and thank you for hosting me. Thank you.